Alright, what is going on, guys? Spiteful holds back again, coming at you with the top 10 mind characters. And honestly, this list was not too overly difficult to put together. There wasn't really that many crazy high-powered mind units this year as opposed to the year prior. And yeah, without further ado, let's go into the honorable mentions. First off, we do have Tsukishima, who I believe is just fine, honestly, even though he has a damage reduction link. He does have Frenzy, he does have Debilitator plus 5 seconds. Confusion is kind of a hit or miss with the community. I personally dislike it. He is a human affiliation with a no affiliation killer, which is starting to become more prevalent due to the fact that Tower of Ordeals has so many no affiliation killer recommendations pretty much. And then on top of that, he does have 641 attack, he does have devastation and 40%. Like, he's just an overall good unit, but I feel like him having no affiliation killer and then a DR link, I feel like that hurts him more than helps him due to the fact that he has confusion instead of something like weakening. Alright, and next on the list we have Bankai Kenpachi, which is honestly kind of interesting to me due to the fact that we got quite a lot of NAD hybrid units. Kenpachi would have been on the list if it wasn't for the fact that he does not have Sprinter. He does have Frenzy, he does have Poise, which makes him actually kind of a powerhouse in PvP. With the addition of his transformation allowing him to get his strong attacks back, he's still a very, very powerful character. Being one of the best captains with a Ronkar killer, he's still one of the go-to characters for that requirement. Alright, and last but not least, we have Tier Halibel, Breast Edition. I mean, Swimsuit Edition, because, you know what I'm saying, they have to sexualize absolutely everything for literally no reason. She is a strong attack recharge link with Hollow Killer. Obviously, she's an Espada. She has Frenzy, 741 Spiritual Pressure at that, with Long Reach and Bruiser of 20%. She has a standard devastation of 40% with Weaken Attack on her special. I personally dislike Weaken Attack on special just because I feel like that could have been anything else, including Weaken Defense. Now, she does have a freeze immunity, which K-Lab seems to be making more use of, but her having no status elements, I feel, was a really detrimental part of her not making the list. Alright, and 10th on the list, we have Christmas Rukia. Now, she was really divisive when she originally came out. With damage inflicted at full stamina 20% along with a barrier, she kind of got a lot of hate just due to the fact that she can't pump out her strong attacks faster than normal. She does have Frenzy, she does have 740 Spiritual Pressure, which is really good. On top of that, she's one of the few Soul Reaper killers that isn't an Espada. So whenever you have an Espada detriment in content such as Senkaimon, it's definitely very good to have a variety of these characters. Coupled with the fact that she has freeze on all of her attacks but her strong attack too, she does have Debilitator of 5 seconds, which is excellent. She does have Frenzy, Devastation 40%, which is pretty standard, along with the standard Long Reach and Bruiser of 20%. She's just an overall good unit. That, and you can't really downplay her special now, can you? Alright, and 9th on the list we have Ichigo Kurosaki, the power to protect the Bond Lost Agent full Shikai version of Bring. He's just overall a really, really good character. Soul Reaper with a Ronkar killer along with a normal attack damage link of 25%. He's rocking a Bruiser of 50%, so a combined 75% attack up in that regards. He does have a 30% Berserker and a Devastation of 40%. He's also rocking 624 as Spiritual Pressure, which is above average for most characters that are a NAD hybrid link that really makes effective use of their NAD. One thing to note about this character is he does have a Vortex, a full screen third strong attack, and a first strong attack that pushes back. This character is a range character, which makes him quite interesting because in my opinion he's one of the few good NAD range hybrid characters. On top of that, he also rocks a gorgeous special. And him being a host to the strongest attack stat in the game, regardless of having flurry or not, I think still makes him one of the best characters in the game. Alright, and 8th on the list we have Christmas Yoruichi. Christmas Yoruichi is absolutely incredible. She is a Soul Reaper killer with strong attack recharge. On top of that, she does have Frenzy with 774 Spiritual Pressure, tied with 1000 Year Blood War Kisuke and Yoruichi herself. Devastation 40% with Debilitator plus 5 seconds with freeze on everything. She's rocking 1047 stamina, 638 attack, and a whopping 774 Spiritual Pressure with Frenzy. She has freeze on all of her attacks. She's a melee character with Debilitator of 5 seconds. Devastation 40% makes her special even more viable. And a Bruiser of 20% so that her NAD can be somewhat useful in tough situations. She's just overall a very good character. Alright, 7th on the list, and still in my opinion one of the best characters for Mind, especially when it comes to autoing content. Still viable in PvP, which is actually quite insane considering that he doesn't have poise. That being said, White Zangetsu is honestly, he was just built to last. Like, him being a Soul Reaper and Hollow makes him useful in extra content such as Senkaimon. He has a Soul Reaper killer, which is the best killer in the game. Normal attack damage link along with a bruiser of 50%. He's rocking 755 attack. Like, clearly this character was made to last. But not only that, his kit is just exemplary. He has weakened defense on his special, making his special actually usable should you go with a NAD build. He has Devastation 40%, Berserker 40% if you want to go with a more hybrid build. And with Debilitator of 5 seconds and weakening on all of his attacks except for his special and his NAD, it's just overall good value. His second strong attack is a vortex that actually surrounds him. It is an elongated vortex, so you have quite a bit of protection as well. Third strong attack pretty much covers the field in front of you, and the first strong attack is just a good lunge ability. Coupled with some of the best animations and sprites, whatever you want to call it, like, this character not only looks good, but plays well as well. Plays well as well? Really? Did I really have to say that? Whatever. Alright, 6th on the list, and honestly, one of my favorite characters to play to this day. Now, usually I knock characters for not having a full screen, but in my opinion, him having Soul Reaper Killer with Strong Attack Recharge and Frenzy and 729 Spiritual Pressure, and him covering like pretty much anything in front of him, he has crazy range despite not being full screen. At the very least, if you can just give it 2 extra flash steps to go away from the enemy, most of these enemies spawn in clumps. In my opinion, this character is clearly made to last. With Frenzy and Debilitator plus 5 seconds, along with weakening on all of his attacks, the Devastation 40%, he blew Segunda Etapa Ulquiorra out of the water within a month of his release. Bruiser of 20%, long reach 20% makes his NAD actually usable. First strong attack is a lunge. His second strong attack has insane range, and then his third strong attack on top of that has crazy range for anything in front of him. This character is just clearly made to last, with multi-hits and Frenzy and weakening and special having weakening and Devastation 40%. This character is just absolutely nuts, and he's honestly one of my favorite characters to play with. I do not regret 10-10-10ing this character, and I would still recommend 10-10-10ing this character should you be contemplating link slots or not. 627 attack, 729 spiritual pressure, but don't let the stats fool you. Stats aren't everything anymore. Alright, and next on the list we have Momo. Now, Momo being in 5th place is quite interesting. Now, keep in mind that this is not Tag Team Momo. This is the Eisen Fodder edition, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my lord, that is a screaming, dude.
So there's currently only 2 characters that have a strong attack, recharge, frenzy, and medic. Now, her having a debilitator of 2 seconds definitely helps her conquest in stages like Senkaimon. She has devastation of 40% with burn, actually makes her one of the better killing units in the game. Killing units in the game? Did I say that? No, that's kind of dumb. But she is rocking 641 attack, 1018 stamina, 352 defense, which is above average, and average focus. But this character actually is quite good. She might not have crazy range, but the utility that she brings to the team, and honestly being able to spam heal, is definitely one of the most useful things to have in extreme co-op or inheritance zone. Just regular hard content that you really don't want to be without. Alright, and next on the list, the Soul Reaper Captain Commander himself, 1000-year Blood War Shuns. Oh. Alright, hold up, never mind. This isn't a copy paste, I promise. Is Jushiro Uketake. Now, Jushiro, in my opinion, is just insane. With a strong attack recharge of 14% and pretty much almost the same kit as Shunsui, except a little more enhanced, I love this character. Despite having a hollow killer, honestly, if he had Soul Reaper killer, I'd actually put him higher on the list, regardless of what the people said. He is rocking 773 spiritual pressure, 1 shy off of 1000-year Blood War Kisuke and Yoruichi, 640 attack, 1052 stamina, 361 defense, which is above average. His stats are power creep level. Debilitator of 5 seconds, along with freeze/stun on all of his attacks, and rocking Frenzy, meaning that he actually has an incredible chance of actually proccing his freeze or stun, making his second strong attack, which is pretty much the same strong attack as Shunsui, just even more deadly. Like, this character absolutely shreds through incredibly difficult content. He has Devastation of 40%. If it wasn't good enough, he has Bruiser of 20% as well. This character is clearly made to last, and he'll still be a relevant character going onwards into the future. Like, this character is actually one of my favorite characters, and he actually, in my opinion, breaks the stereotype that mid-month banners can't be busted. Alright, and third on the list, 1000-Year Blood War Doge version, Sajin Komamura. Now, Sajin is an absolute powerhouse. He can auto most of the content in the game. He does have a normal attack damage link of 20%, which makes him just even that more deadlier. He is obviously a Soul Reaper and Captain with an Espada killer. Honestly, if he had Captain killer, he'd probably be better in PvP. Unfortunately, he dies so easily. I am so sorry, but he melts like City Putty to characters like Gin, Unohana, and and now Bankai Ichigo. Like, this character, unfortunately, just his just the fact that he's a mind unit honestly hurts him because of how broken Unohana is. If it wasn't for Unohana, I think that he actually would be pretty good in PvP. Her prevalency in PvP, especially in the higher stages, is just not worth running him. 762 attack. He's actually the first character to get Sprinter, Flurry, and Poise. And he's also rocking a long reach of 15% and a Berserker of 30%, as if you're ever going to use that. Rocking 762 attack and 1030 stamina. This character is absolutely insane for content like Inheritance Zone, Droplet Zone. He can pretty much auto most content in the game. Especially if you have a gold chappy. If you have a gold chappy, oof, you lucky bastard, because I'm desperate for one of those. Whew. With relatively good range on all of his strong attacks and a transforming special that changes his NAD to have even more range, in my opinion, is just really, really good. He has a very fast NAD, and despite being a flurry character, he's not actually boring to play, which is usually my gripe on these NAD characters. Alright, and second on the list, the Almighty himself. Yo, Yhwach has taken a lot of crap, considering that he doesn't have Frenzy, he doesn't have a PvE killer, and then on top of that, he has a damage reduction link. Like, that being said, he still deals a very good amount of damage. He is a no affiliation character, which honestly definitely helps him in my opinion. There's a lot of content out nowadays that actually requires that. Spiritual Pressure of 786, definitely made to last, with 634 attack, 1047 stamina, and above average defense at 356. He's just overall a really good character. Now, he is a ranged character with a sword who uses a bow for some damn reason. And on top of all that, he has paralysis on all of his attacks except for his special, which actually transforms him and increases the magnification of all of his attacks by 25%. And also changes all of his attacks into causing weakening instead of paralysis. With his shield on his special, I think that he's definitely one of the characters that you can actually use in most content in the game, especially if you know that you can't, for some god-awful reason, defeat the boss. Like, this character is rocking Bombardment, weakening on his special, Debilitator of 5 seconds. So you also, so on top of all that, you also get a barrier. Now, this character is absolutely insane in PvP because you get to start off with a barrier of 10. And the reason that I don't bring this up for PvE content is simply because it doesn't really last that long, which only really lasts like 20 seconds. So it's not really all that useful for PvE content because usually you're not going to be taking damage for the first 20 seconds of the run anyways. Alright, and number one on the list, we have Shinji Hirako, the Lost Agent School Shooter Edition. Now this character is actually quite insane. He's rocking a long reach of 20% with some of the best NAD in the game in terms of a Spiritual Pressure Frenzy based character. And even though he's rocking less than 700 Spiritual Pressure, he does rock Frenzy, and on top of that he is a strong attack damage 25% link. He has some of the best range in the game. He's a holo killer, he's great in Guild Quest, useful in PvP in the lower stages, great in overall PvE in general, and actually has his uses in Senkaimon. Like, this character is clearly made to last with a Captain Hollow affiliation and burn on his second strong attack. In my opinion, he's just incredibly fun to play with, and you don't really feel nerfed just because he doesn't have any status ailments, just because he's a strong attack damage character instead of strong attack recharge. And overall, this character, in my opinion, with the release of Guild Quest and Senkaimon, Like, his value just skyrocketed, honestly. Like, it's honestly quite insane. Now, if you have a problem with the list, feel free to make your own. I might actually pay attention to it. It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But, nah, for real, though. Now, if you agree or disagree with my list, let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you would actually place these characters. I'm actually quite interested because this list was quite interesting to put together. This list and the heart list were probably some of the most divisive and hard to really judge. Mine actually had quite a lot of NAD hybrid characters, which were honestly quite hit or miss. Characters such as, like with characters like Yukio, Kusaka, and Shunsui like being released this year, I feel like honestly they could have been made better, or at least been more useful. Like, Kusaka has some of the worst range in the game. Yukio is relatively good. Like, he's okay. Like, I don't think he's bad. He's just not top 10 worthy. Like, this list is actually really tight. But, I mean, I guess that's the end of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. It's all opinion-based. Like, I don't know what else to say. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all know this, guys. Grind on, catching with him. Stay blessed. I wish you the best luck in your summons. And, yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. Stay blessed, Sean. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.